It was the most interesting interview imaginable. A 4-hour-long session between Eric Weinstein and Joe Rogan. Fascinating in its controversy and utterly mind-blowing. We couldn't expect anything less. Weinstein, a notorious skeptic, being quite generous with words, conversed freely, citing examples here and there that would make every category of person understand what was being said. When the conversation on physics started, it was utterly compelling. Going on about the history of physics, traveling through depths and heights and making stops at junctions of perceived conspiracy that has eaten deep into the understanding of the science was as astonishing as it went. Giving a brief insight into the interview, Weinstein built a case that antigravity was discovered in the 1960s, and that it formed the foundation of Martin. After that, he said that the entirety of physics education and physics itself as a science has been ruined, preventing advanced knowledge from being explored by academics. It really is shocking. More so, disturbing, because from all indications, physics has been completely stagnant for about 50 years. What is more surprising is, it's all on purpose. Then, in discussion on recent happenings on the UFO and UAP phenomenon followed. It gets even more interesting from there. In a recent episode of the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, Joe Rogan and Eric Weinstein discussed the possibility of the United States faking UFOs. Weinstein, a mathematician and economist, suggested that the US government may be creating a fake UFO situation for unknown reasons. It is no news that Eric Weinstein always had an eye outside the box, as he is best known for not being a scientist or an economist, but a highly influential critic and notorious skeptic, especially of the American government. Weinstein noted that he gets to speak with people in the hem of technology and government from time to time, and by reason of what he has heard and seen. And the dots he has been able to connect based on personal knowledge and experience. He knows what is going on in those sectors. Before leaving us to assume that there's a robot or a clone sitting in the White House as president, Weinstein dropped the bomb. He said the US may be faking a UFO situation for reasons he doesn't fully understand. Rogan, out of curiosity, further asked Weinstein if he thinks the United States has technology that is beyond the scope of people's understanding or that people do not even know exist. Weinstein's response, 90% no. Well, because it's very hard to imagine physicists continuing to work on nothing for their entire career. A number of people are going to be retiring shortly, having never actually done physics as a physicist. We're all talking about wasted lives. People are going to be very weird when they realize that they blew their entire career. The controversial, non-practicing scientist raised an interesting point speculating whether there could be a black program, anti-gravity technology, likening it to how the NSA literally vacuums up all the doctoral graduates in the fields that apply to their work. Those people simply disappear from professional organizations and suddenly all live near NSA facilities in Virginia or Maryland. Thinking about it, the reality is, there actually aren't many highly recognized schools graduating physicists, theoretical mathematicians, and other disciplines necessary to support a program in the UAP technology, and none of these institutions have said anything about it. From this perspective, it is easy to believe that everything is being put in place to wipe out the place of further research or to prevent a study from sifting into the academics. It could also mean that no such technology exists. From all indications, Weinstein has a flair for countering scientific claims, particularly the Einsteinian physics. Some say there is a possibility Weinstein's controversial nature is more than meets the eye, and it could be that he just clearly hates Einsteinian physics, claiming that it doesn't go far enough. Time and time again, Weinstein has said he thinks Einsteinian physics is just a part of a much larger theoretical equation and field of study, and that there is more to be explored. But he has failed to publish anything that explains what it is in detail. It is also worth noting that Weinstein point-blank states that he isn't a physicist. Even though he has an advanced degree in physics, distances himself from the profession on purpose. This doesn't mean that Weinstein might totally be wrong concerning his view of physics as a discipline that has hit the end of the road. Einstein's equations may eventually be proven to be a small part of a much more thorough model of the universe where we come to learn what dark matter and dark energy are and how the speed of life in no way constrains us. It appears Weinstein is not the only one who has raised brows concerning the UFO situation. The uproar started with the renewed interest in UFO sightings after the recent release of the footage of an unexplained aerial phenomenon. While some have suggested that these sightings could be evidence of extraterrestrial life, others remain skeptical and have proposed alternative explanations, such as experimental military technology. As the debate continues, what is important to know is whether the United States government is indeed faking UFO sightings or if these sightings are just evidence of something else entirely. It has been a rowdy debate, and you would agree that the line separating fact from fantasy is a thin one. It's been quite a while since the US government disclosed the reality of UFOs and UAPs. It is really remarkable that since then, some dogged skeptics who have a reputation for rolling their eyes and bursting in ridicule have had to face what seems like the truth. UFOs just might be a thing. What many smart people have long considered fantasy is now beginning to be accepted as fact. Confusing fact, perhaps, but fact nevertheless. Closing one's mind to possibilities does nothing but cripple one's consciousness. If we are not bold enough to break through the boundaries of our present reality, our awareness may be limited and we will miss out on the most interesting discoveries. Some time ago in 2021, a letter, written by Weinstein, was released to the world. It was a surprising one from the renowned skeptic of the UFO phenomena. Not only was Weinstein brutally honest, but I found his challenge to closed-mind scientists especially refreshing. This is what Weinstein said in the tweet. To all the UFO people who are getting it right, I blew it. I thought you were bored, easily convinced, read too much sci-fi as kids, and were easily taken in. I thought there was no way this could ambiguously exist in a world flooded with censors. I thought you were not getting it. I'm very late to your party, and even having gotten the report mostly right, it has been exceptionally unpleasant to get in front of it by even a few months. I can only imagine how it feels after the many years the US has gaslighted you all, while knowing you were not wrong. He continued, at a personal level, you were right. I was wrong. Thanks for letting me join you at the last minute in the few months before the report. I'll listen more. To the non-UFO community, he mentioned that whatever information he shared wasn't entirely from him, adding that they came from patriots, fellow scientists, and others that were on the same page with him. All I did was a bit of filtering and aftermarket analysis, given the gravity of the situation, he noted. Weinstein didn't stop without leaving a piece for fellow scientists. Like a warning, he said, it is totally irresponsible for any scientist to refuse to investigate UAP after this report with a full and unpruned decision tree at her side. This includes considering the total incompetence of the Defense Department, aliens, spoofing by enemies, and UFO political economy. According to Weinstein, US scientists who do not take the UFO phenomena seriously are invariably turning their back on both national and international security. Judging from this old tweet and Eric Weinstein's choice of words that show mere assumptions in the recent interview with Joe Rogan, it is obvious that Weinstein is neither here nor there. He thinks the UFO situation is fake, and he also believes he could be wrong. It is okay to think Weinstein is crazy, but having listened to other Weinstein interviews he has had in the past, he's far from being foolish. After all, it has become increasingly difficult to believe the government anyway. The government lies about everything else. Why wouldn't they do the same for physics? It has been a roller coaster of criticism and counter-criticism since the UFO phenomenon came to play. Weinstein has made his point, but more than who is right or wrong, we strongly hope our planet is safe. While you like this video, do let us know your thoughts in the comments section below.